We got this from The Hill. Trump administration orders federal authorities to ignore California mask law. The Trump admin ordered federal authorities Friday to ignore new legislation in California banning law enforcement officers from wearing masks. Gavin Newsom last Saturday signed the bill, which is slated to take effect January 1st, 2026, making face coverings of local, state, and federal officials a misdemeanor crime and imposing a civil penalty against officers for tortious conduct. Governor Newsom is confused about his role under the U.S. Constitution. Bill Asaley, acting U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, said in a Friday Post on X, he oversees California, not federal agencies. He should review the Supremacy Clause. California's law to unmask federal agents is unconstitutional as the state lacks jurisdiction to interfere with federal law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to disregard this state law and adhere to federal law and agency policies, Asaley wrote. This is where things start getting spicy because although we got a couple of months until this law kicks in. The question is, will Newsom actually try to impose penalties, misdemeanor crimes, potential charges against ICE, or will he just sit there with his, hands tied behind his back effectively because he can't do anything?
And say that they're criminals. If he just tells the people they're violating the law, now they're criminals, and put that out there.
Well, I think that California already rolls like that. So I used to work in the beauty industry, and you would have to have a whole different rule set up for your beauty product based on California, like California law. Like there's so many, even with like trucking, like when trucks drive into California, it's a whole new set of rules they have to abide by. So I think that for them, they've already set multiple precedences where they're used to having their own set of California specific rules. So I don't necessarily know if Newsom is just going to stand down because that's not the California way.
He's not going to do anything.
He's not.
I don't think that he's going to do anything. This is all posturing.
You think so?
He'll go ahead. They won't actually try to arrest any federal agents. And like Ian said, I think he'll just go ahead and say, "Look, I passed this law, and these are criminal ICE agents. They're breaking the law. Look at how bad Trump is. His Gestapo, and all he's going to do is use it to just turn up the rhetoric, which is bad in and of itself, right? Like this is an escalation, and whatever he does beyond this is also another escalation, but I don't think that he'll go so far as to have his local law enforcement actually have a confrontation with federal law enforcement because he doesn't want to. I can't imagine that he wants to see any of his own local law enforcement guys get shot. He doesn't want to see a gunfight between two different law enforcement agencies. And he doesn't actually want to take on the federal government in a kinetic way. He wants to take on Trump in a battle of rhetoric.
Yes.
And he wants to look tough so that way because he wants to run for president. So if they get into a gunfight, he wants to
stay viable.
If they get into a gunfight, there's no way he's going to win the presidency.
The only reason I'm still just concerned is because the temperature, like you talked about, the temperature is up so high. And now they're to the point of they don't want to just posture. They're fatigued with posturing. And I think that on our side, we're like, oh, nobody in their right mind is going to do that. But the people that are behind a Newsom, they want to see action now. And I think that that's something we have to be mindful of.
There was a video I just saw today where a bunch of conservatives were at a memorial for Charlie Kirk, and it was painted on a bridge. And some guy he's filming himself with a camera on his body, walks up with spray paint, shakes it up, and then immediately starts trying to desecrate the memorial and immediately gets repelled.
Yeah.
And then starts threatening people. I love this. He goes, "You can't touch me. You can't touch me." And it's like, bro, I've heard that there's so many of these videos. Have you guys seen the video where the dude tries robbing the CVS and he's got these huge bags and a mask on? And then somebody just grabs him, puts him in a chokehold and slams him down while the guy's yelling, "You can't touch me." And I'm like, bro, that's not going to fly with people who don't care anymore, right? So they end up pepper spraying the dude.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 other leftists, and they're like, "You can't do this to us. How do you?" And it's like, dude, no one is going to tolerate these leftists acting this way. And, to Phil's point he made just a moment ago in the previous segment, these people have been able to go out with impunity and firebomb ICE buildings in 2020 for 100+ days. And Trump didn't do anything about it. So there are, think about this, 5 years ago, there's a 13-year-old. He logs on to Facebook or X or Instagram, whatever's watching TikTok, and he sees these far leftists lobbing explosives at a federal building. 5 years later, he's like, why can't I? You don't get in trouble for it. And so now he's out there on the ground with these people doing it. People don't realize, man, time, 5 years, it's not that long. you are going to see more and more people being told it is okay to do this. That's why I'm saying Trump needs to start arresting these people for the threats. These people at the ICE facility need to be arrested. And a message is now sent. So that way, when there's a 13 or 14-year-old who logs on that TikTok or whatever, they see you get arrested and they see people crying and they say, I ain't doing that.
No, because you don't want to go to county.
Oh, man.
You need to have the risk
don't
of
wanna go
going to county with real hardened criminals who are waiting for you to come in there. Like, that needs to be the risk. And I think, like you say, normalizing bad behavior and normalizing that you can put your hands on law enforcement and get that close to them is not something it's just not a safe thing to do. You don't touch law enforcement.
I think, people who don't live in Chicago don't understand what it means to go to county.
Oh, man. County is rough. I mean, like, it's not just a quick stay. Those guys are in there for, up to a year? You can stay in county for a year.
And so
it's real criminals.
There's two thoughts about it. So what is it like? It's like what is it like California, or I can't remember the address, the street that it's on.
Oh yeah, it's California.
On California Avenue or whatever. And so some of these people are in county lockup pending transfer for like waiting trial for serious murder, and their attitude is like, I ain't going nowhere, so I can do whatever I want. So what's scary for a lot of people with county is you might get a charge where you're looking at 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
You go to county. And then some guy starts a beef with you who's like, bro, I'm in here for the rest of my life. And then what happens if you get into a fight? You get more time.
Yep.
And so people are terrified for a variety of reasons. Plus the gangs run out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to county. No.
No, and it needs to be a real risk. Like, if you're like a college kid, like, you need to really be thinking about this. Like, no, there's no amount of bail getting you out of here.
Could you imagine like a woke white liberal woman in county
In
lockup
county?
trying to tell like some 30-year-old gangbanger about how oppressed he is?
Yeah, even these, if you're in there with these hardened chicks, like, they're nothing to play with. I think that, like you said, it just you have to have normalcy. We need to return to normalcy and return to common sense. Like, the normal person is never going to go touch a law enforcement official. It doesn't occur to me to touch them. So we need to normalize that for more of the population. Like, that's just the only way forward.
We're in such strange times, like they're abnormal times with this 20+ million surge of illegal immigrants, and that people have been either brainwashed into believing that they're the rebel alliance and that the empire is coming with their stormtroopers all masked up to take their people away.
The new Jewish people. They've made the migrants the new Jewish people. They really have. And I think that's so weird to co-opt the Jewish story. And also they also look at these people like the new slaves. Like, they'll kind of tell me like, oh, you're going to be like a person like me. Like, oh, this was you just a little bit ago. And it's like, hey, it actually wasn't.
Yeah, that was me never.
No.
I was never enslaved.
Like, I was never enslaved. And also slaves didn't like hop over here. Like, that's not even like the story. And it's like, to make it seem like I should be okay with illegal aliens coming into the country. I'm like, I'm an American. And I think that for a lot of Black people, they need to really identify much more heavily with being Americans. We are not slaves anymore. We are American citizens with all the rights and privileges of being American citizens. And for the Democratic Party to continue to tell us that we are not, and that we're actually second-class citizens who at any point could get deported with illegal aliens, because that's the rhetoric they tell us, it could be you. You're going to get enslaved. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah. It really is this amazing contrast between Clarence Thomas and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Okay. And like, Clarence Thomas is one of the greatest thinkers of our lifetime, and Ketanji Brown Jackson is real dumb.
Genius and stupidity don't care about your race.
Right.
No.
Everybody's got it.
No, but she's a really bad influence for Black women in general, and that's why you see a lot of Black women following in her footsteps. It's like the Jasmine Crockett syndrome. This is why it's been normalized for Black women to feel like, oh, let me go and get really educated, but not evolve.
Well, she fakes it.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing, is that she's a well-educated, professional individual who decided, I'm going to act like I'm ghetto and play this character out. Yeah. That's crazy.
No, it's either play like you're a civil rights activist or play like you're ghetto and about that life. It's like, you're not, she literally walks around Congress or walks around the Capitol Hill with like security around her. I'm like, you're not about that life. You're actually quite scared. You're quite shook about the attention that you have. But
where's she from?
She's from St. Louis. She's actually from close to my
Okay, all right, St. Louis. I'll give her some credit for St. Louis.
Her father's a preacher. She went to schools that cost like $30,000 a year. Like, this woman is not what she portrays at all, and it really.
Okay, so West, not East St. Louis.
No, no, no. I'm from East St. Louis, and I'm like, I'm from East St. Louis, an area where people are terrified.
Oh yeah.
To go to, and I'm like, I don't act like that. So why do you act like that? And you're from St. Louis.
Yeah, crossing the river is like when
big deal.
It gets bad. Yep.
Yeah. No, it gets really bad. East St. Louis is probably considered a dead town at this point. But my grandma still lives there. Yeah.
It's crazy too with like AOC, Jasmine Crockett. I mean, is she a squad member now? Is that? or no?
Which one, Jasmine Crockett?
I don't know if she's actually a member of the squad.
I don't know if
I'm
there's
sure
a squad anymore
she's
because
an
like
honorary
they
member.
lost like 3 squad members, so the squad broke up. Is that what happened?
I feel like Jasmine Crockett is mad at them because they didn't want her to be, you know, they were like, no, you can't lead the committee. What was it, the
She's
oversight
like,
committee?
I'm petty like that.
Yeah, they knocked her off of that because she's not really one of their team.
I'm going to ask again because I didn't get the answer I wanted last time. But okay, so what's the difference here? There's people that have been here illegally for 5 or 6 years that don't speak English. They came in the Surge, Biden's Surge, versus people that have been here over a decade that speak fluent English, that have a lot of friends and family in the community.
Well, what are you asking? Because that's the distinction,
That
right?
we should not use ICE to deport people that are integral now, that have integrated, even if they're illegal.
Well, the priority of the Trump administration is not those people.
No.
But they'll
Some of
grab
them-
them anyway if they.
Well, I don't think the proper way to describe it is they'll get them anyway. I think it's that they've been looking for active orders of deportation, and they're typically targeting. They want to go after
People
the
with a
criminals.
crime- yeah.
Some kind of heavy crime or multiple infractions. Some of these people are a guy who lived in an area for a long time, but he has an infraction. I don't think there's actually any big national stories of like a guy whose only offense was an order of deportation who worked at a grocery store or anything.
Yeah.
Typically, even when the left puts up these videos where it's like, there's one right now of a guy screaming "Ayúdame," or no, there's one where
That means
a guy.
listen to me.
No, it means help me.
Oh, it does. Okay. So
Yeah. There's
Espanol es no
no.
bueno, no.
So there's a video where a guy is at a car and they throw him down and he's screaming in Spanish, "Please, please, I just want to see my family."
Yeah.
And all these libs are going, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
he was a pedophile."
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, guys,
That you.
what are you doing?
I believe what you're saying, actually, but that the people that are here 10, 12 years integrated, working at the grocery store with no criminal record, except for are terrified that they will be grabbed. So maybe we could give them federal immunity.
What? Why?
If they can prove that they've been here over a decade.
So
I just
like,
think it does a
if you-
disservice to immigrants who go through the actual thorough process. And that's the one thing we have to protect is the process of immigration. Those people know more about America than we do a lot of times. Like they have to learn so much about this country. They pay so much money to become American citizens and it takes so much time. So it really does, in order to say, hey, you're okay, for the person who came in at 12, the same time period as the person who came illegally, it's like, well, why did I go through all of this and wait? Or even people who are seeking, asylum, where you have to wait to come into the country for
Yeah.
asylum.
You're supposed to go to a port of entry.
Yeah.
And if there's a country
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
between the country you originated at
Yeah.
and the United States that actually is safe, you're supposed to stop there. Ian,
and apply there.
deport them. Yeah, you're supposed to.
So I have a pitch for you,
Report
Ian.
them.
I've been thinking about this.
Gotta
You
go.
know, I was reading the other day about a guy, and they called it a bank robbery. Can you believe this? This poor man, he was just making an undocumented withdrawal from the bank. And I said, why don't we? I mean, look, it's been a couple years since the undocumented withdrawal. He's used the money to work and live in his home, and he built it up. Why arrest him at this point?
do you think all the people that have Bitcoin that didn't report it to the government should go to prison?
Do I think people that have violated tax law should go to prison? Most,
They just have Bitcoin and didn't ever report it.
yeah. So you know what happens is they send you a bill. You don't go to prison.
The government doesn't know they have it. They have it offshore. They have it. They don't tell. They have cold storage. Like, should those people
Well,
be hunted down?
if you want to have a debate over the morality of tax law,
law,
we
just
can.
as law in general,
It's tax and murder and undocumented, they're all
undocumented,
they're all
immigration
distinct things.
and tax.
So
Well, I think
you're
illegal
comparing
aliens
apples to
are-
oranges.
It's like
They're very different
trespassing.
things.
And I'll tell you this: the answer is the people who bought Bitcoin and have made a lot of money out of it should pay their taxes.
Yeah.
Now we can have a debate over how we should handle tax law as it pertains to this country and how I feel about taxes and all that. But if the argument is these people knew full well that buying crypto and then making a massive gain on that would require them paying capital gains when they actually see the return, and then they intentionally hid that from the government. Well, I have a problem with that.
talked
And
about-
that's
you don't
illegal,
have to-
and I'm not going to cut. But here's the thing: often when you have tax stuff like this, I said this of Hunter Biden. Usually the IRS just says, "Hey, dude, you owe us."
money.
They don't come and lock you up unless there's something egregious that you did.
We talked about jury nullification earlier, about a jury being like, look, the law it may be the law, but it's not just. And I think that with the illegal, because if we just go hardcore, everyone go,
I
you'll
think
just
I have
see
a
more and
good-
more
I
resistance.
have a good
What is
analogy.
unjust about sending
think I have
people back, though?
So listen, what about this analogy? So what if we're talking about a squatter instead? Because my family has land in Arkansas and they have squatters on it. So say you have a squatter in a house and they've been there for like 12 years. Is that house ever theirs? Is it more theirs now today than it was when they first started squatting, when they broke in and decided this is my house now. Should that person who actually owns that house not be able to get their house back because the person's been there for so long?
Well, 12 years is an interesting question, actually. And if we're talking about like, there are questions that I think are fair when we're talking about duration.
Yeah.
If you own property and you did not deal
let
with
somebody
this,
stay there for 12 years. Yeah,
Right.
you're negligent as heck.
but like 6 months to a year.
But
like,
also, our immigration system was negligent as heck. And it's like, so I guess that kind of goes back to what you said. Like, if we let somebody stay here for 12 years, like the U.S. jacked up. You know, like, why was that person here for 12 years?
But again, to Ian's point, I would say these are completely morally distinct things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone didn't pay taxes to the government. Nobody was physically hurt. The tax revenue for the year was barely impacted. Somebody with Bitcoin, let's say someone got really wealthy off it and they owe $7 million in Bitcoin. That's a rounding error for the federal budget. I think the appropriate solution is, hey, you owe taxes, you got a tax bill. Thank you and have a
I
nice
think
day.
the crypto thing's irrelevant too. I think that squatting is a better metaphor.
If
for
somebody
what's going
came here
on.
illegally, it is not in any way a moral violation to say, Ian, I couldn't help but notice you've been in my house for a long time. I'm going to give you a ride home, okay? Just give me the
12
address.
years, like-
I'll pay for it. Listen, if I found there was a guy in my basement that I didn't know was there, and the worst that happened was I was like, let's say
They'll pay for them to leave. They'll actually pay for them.
Ian, let's say one day I'm like, I keep every night hearing this weird noise in my basement, and it's been this way for a couple of years. I go down there, and there's a little Hagrid, little Jasmine Crockett going, I live in your basement.
My basement.
And then I say, okay, this is a problem for me. You can't be in my house. I'm going to give you a ride home. I'm going to pay for the gas. You will be comfortable the whole way.
And you can come back legally through the front door.
You'll be well fed, and all you got to do is come back, knock, and we'll talk about it.
About 12 years at one of your properties you don't live at, and it's just you just didn't pay any attention, and now it's their house.
So here's the issue. There's a difference between an individual who waited 12 years and never checked on their property. I would call that abandoned. The United States government is very different because there have been people in this country demanding the deportation of these individuals, but a government that would not do it. So you've got people outright saying, no, stop this, and the law saying you can't. Skirting the law and hiding is different. So how about a better analogy, Ian? You own a house. You check on it every other week. And the person squatting hides every time you come and check. And so one day you figure out they've been there for 12 years, but every time you check, they've been hiding from you. Can you kick them out?
Depends on the state. Legally, you mean?
No, I'm saying
physically?
morally.
Morally.
Oh, that's rough.
They're hiding from you.
There's like a family of people that have been hiding and living
They
there for 12
intentionally
years, or-
intentionally broke into your house. They're hiding from you because they know you're keeping up with the house, you're checking on it, and you don't want anyone there.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Because here's the other
100%.
thing,
So if you're aware, if you're not negligent, if you're aware they're there.
And this
not
country,
aware.
this country has laws saying you can't do it.
Well, what's gonna happen
And
is-
ICE was enforcing those laws, particularly under Obama, just because some people got away with it from hiding.
What's going to happen
doesn't mean we leave them here.
BlackRock's going to own 20% of the houses in the country, and
I don't
people are going to be like squatting.
That has
and we're going to
nothing
be
to
like
do
common
with
man or
immigration.
mega
Well, and I think
corporation.
so. I used
That
to
has
work for the
nothing to do
state's
with
financial aid agency in Illinois, and here's the thing. So for a lot of these people who have been long-time illegal aliens, they also had kids that they brought here with them. I would literally be doing financial aid applications with these children, and they thought they were citizens. So that's the issue. Is like, we have to think about all the real world implications of somebody who has not pursued legal citizenship and what it does to their entire family unit as well. So those kids would be thinking, and these would be smart kids. Like they actually had like better GPAs than some of the kids who were like actual American citizens. But when it came time for me to say, hey, what's your social? They would show me either a card that was like a DACA card, or they would show me something else. And it's like, hey, that's not a social. And then they would have to find out all of a sudden, like, wait, what do you mean? And I would be breaking the news to them that they weren't a citizen.
Did they get deported?
No, so they would actually train us with the state's financial agencies to make sure we were like protecting, these kids so they wouldn't end up in a precarious situation. But when you have a parent that is negligent or a person who's negligent with not going through that process, you really have to ask, like, why aren't you going through the process to make yourself right? Because it hasn't always been a hostile situation in America where you couldn't go and then pursue, citizenship. So why hasn't it been a priority? Especially if you've been here for 12 years.
Because the government was being negligent.
Bye.
No, listen, there's this story that we're going to pull up in a second where a guy is a superintendent in Iowa.
Yeah.
Just because you've like
Contributed.
lied and hidden from law enforcement does not mean, you win. You robbed a bank, but you ran around the block 5 times and we couldn't catch you, so drat, you get to keep the money. There's no time
There's a statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations means
crimes.
we knew where you were, we knew who you are, we knew the crime and accusations were there, and we didn't pursue it. That's different. If we say this is a crime and then you hide from us and we can't find you and didn't know that you were here, the statute of limitations doesn't kick in until we're aware of that crime. So if a guy comes from Guatemala and is living here illegally and no one knows the crime has been committed, then it's not negligent. If one day we then say, hey, wait a minute, that guy's illegal, and we pursue it, it doesn't matter how long it took.
Biden's saying Serge the border was negligent.
Fair enough. But look, the reason why I'm so hardline on it, and I am completely hardline, I don't care what nuance you add to it, my answer is goodbye, right? Just send, if you are here illegally, you have to go back. Bye. That's it. And the reason is because it deters people from coming here in the future.
It's not just that. Our economy is displaced. Our low-skilled labor is displaced. Our housing is displaced. Houses should not cost as much as they are. And and we can certainly talk about Trump wanting interest rates to go down because it's going to make houses go up in price. But if the people who came here illegally were not here, then the cost of houses would go way down. Why? Because the supply would be massive. Gen Z would then be able to afford homes. Maybe then they'd have families. So I do not tolerate Democrats saying abort your babies and surge the border. So we have this massive strain on low-skilled labor, the housing market, and no one can have families. Then they're telling everyone to abort their babies, and they're just destroying this country.
And then they call everybody racist when you say things like the Great Replacement is real.
It is real. You're going to replace the religion because actually, when you think about the pace of something like the Muslim religion in comparison to Christianity, the Muslims are outpacing Christianity in different areas because they have more babies. They are literally birthing more Muslims. Like that's literally how they're growing.
The left loves Islam and hates Christianity.
Love it. They're Islam adjacent. And it's like as soon as Islam has taken over the areas, because if you go if you go in Illinois, they've had a big foothold in areas like Orland Park, and it's like they're taking over a lot of
The left needs
areas.
to realize that Islam does not love them.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.